Support for this episode comes from Signature Bank.
Hey, this is Gary Head at Signature Bank of Arkansas. We founded Signature Bank in 2005 with local ownership to serve our communities with the best bankers with the most authority to do business. We have succeeded in growing our bank to over $875 million in assets. We have locations in Bentonville, Rogers, Springdale, Fayetteville, Brinkley, and we have recently expanded to Harrison and Jonesboro. We have 176 teammates in climbing. Our teammates love our communities and the customers that we serve. We're always here to serve and eager to do so. As Chairman and CEO, I welcome your call to have the opportunity to serve you. Please call 479-684-3700 or visit online at signature.bank and tell them that you heard about us at I Am Northwest Arkansas. Signature Bank of Arkansas is a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender.
But let's just get this party started. I've got a quick episode to share with you on what I'm thankful for.
It's time for another episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas, the podcast covering the intersection of business, culture, entrepreneurship, and life in general here in the Ozarks. Whether you are considering a move to this area or trying to learn more about the place you call home, we've got something special for you. Without further ado, here's our fearless host, Randy Wilburn.
What is going on? I am Northwest Arkansas. It's your boy Randy Wilburn coming back with you with a special episode. Today is, as I record this, it is a couple of days before Thanksgiving 2022, and I thought I would do something a little different by recording this episode live and direct. So there are people that are actually watching this on Facebook, and those of you will get the podcast early because you'll be able to hear it right now as you see me doing this. But then some of you will get it later as you listen to it through your podcasting platform of choice. But anyway, I just thought I would do a what I'm thankful for episode. And I've done this in the past, and I like doing monologues from time to time. I've done a few. I did one when my brother-in-law passed in June of 2022 of this year. I did one for Labor Day, and I typically do one for Thanksgiving and one for Christmas or New Year's, somewhere about there. But, as we are getting close to 200 episodes of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast, we're really excited about what that represents and, just looking forward to the future, right? I mean, this is something that in my wildest dreams, if you had told me 3.5 years ago, this is where I would be, I would have said, I don't really think that's the case, but here we are, and we're going to make a go at it. So today I wanted to share with you, my audience, all of the things that I'm thankful for. And the biggest thing that I'm thankful for are you, the listening audience, the people that support me, the encouraging emails and messages that I get from you on a regular basis on all social media platforms, the kind notes that I receive in the mail, and just the attaboys and the, hey, are you that guy that does the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast? I love that podcast. So all that stuff makes me feel really, really good, and I appreciate you guys from the bottom of my heart. So let's just say that, I couldn't do it without you, and you are, as they say, what was that? Was it Beaches? Was that you are the wind beneath my wings? Well, you're kind of like the wind beneath my wings and why I do what I do. And so I think holidays are certainly more than any other time a great time to reflect and also think about the future. So I wanted to share a cool story that I found on Reader's Digest. How many of you guys remember reading Reader's Digest as kids? Like, I know I'm dating myself, but and I've said my age before, I'm 53, and my grandmother used to subscribe to Reader's Digest. So we always had a Reader's Digest, and it always used to be in the bathroom. I could never figure that out. But anyway, the thing about it is I just happened to find this this story that I wanted to share, and the title of it is, and I'll post a link to this. This is a story that's from Reader's Digest. It's called "A Teacher Told Her Students to Draw What They Were Thankful For." This was one student's moving response. When Miss Klein told her first graders to draw a picture of something for which they were thankful, she thought, how these children who lived in a deteriorating neighborhood actually had to be thankful for. She knew that most of the class would draw pictures of turkeys or of bountifully laden Thanksgiving tables. That was what they believed was expected of them. What took Miss Klein aback was Douglas's picture. Douglas was so forlorn and likely to be found close in her shadow as they went outside for recess. Douglas's drawing was simply this: a hand, obviously. But whose hand? The class was captivated by his image. I think it must be the hand of God that brings us food, said one student. A farmer, said another, because they grow the turkeys. It looks more like a policeman and they protect us, I think, said Lavinia, who was always so serious. That it is supposed to be all of the hands that help us, but Douglas could only draw one of them. Mrs. Klein had almost forgotten Douglas in her pleasure at finding the class so responsive. When she had the others at work on another project, she bent over his desk and asked whose hand it was. Douglas mumbled, "It's yours, teacher." Then Mrs. Klein recalled that she had taken Douglas by the hand from time to time. She often did that with the children, but that it should have meant so much to Douglas. Perhaps, she reflected, this was her Thanksgiving and everybody's Thanksgiving, not the material things given unto us, but the small ways that we give something to others. I thought that was a cool story, and it reminds me I need to go back to reading stuff from Reader's Digest, because there's a lot of heartache and pain in the world, and sometimes we just need stories that lighten the spirit, if you will. So take that for what it's worth, and I hope you enjoyed that little story. I wanted to share really quickly, what Thanksgiving was like for me, and has been like for me over the years. Of course, I have a family now, but as a child growing up, I loved Thanksgiving. I would always be at my grandparents' house, and the cool thing about that was that all of the cousins would convene on their house. So they'd all come to Teaneck, New Jersey, and sit around my grandmother's table. And we would, we'd set up the card tables, and we'd have to have 2 or 3 additional card tables in addition to the main table. And of course, the kids couldn't sit at the main table. How many of you remember that? We're not allowed to sit at the main table. So the bottom line was, we sat where we were supposed to sit, and we were quiet until we were given our food, and then the rest was, whatever it was. So, but it was just, there was nothing like that time just spent with family, all of the cacophony of sounds and just all of the arguments, sports and otherwise, right? Because football is a big thing on Thanksgiving Day. And if I remember correctly, my grandfather would have one game bleed into another. And now I guess there's 3 games on Thanksgiving Day, starting out with the Detroit Lions, who forever and a day, and I'm sorry for all my friends in Michigan, we had to tune in to watch the hapless Lions, because very rarely were they ever in playoff contention or were they ever really a good team. But we'd have to watch them, at least for that first game. And then, of course, we got the Dallas Cowboys, right? I'm using air quotes here, America's team. And all my Cowboy friends, y'all don't hate me. Just know that I'm a Steeler for life, and that's never going to change. So anyway, but that's what Thanksgiving was. Family, conversation, all kinds of banter about what's happening in their worlds. And then, of course, there'd be more football. When I got older, I would go out. We'd go to Argonne Park and go play football out there. And some Thanksgivings, it would be super cold, and I would be freezing out there. And other Thanksgiving, it would be, the warm weather would be unseasonably warm. And so I just remember spending time with all of my friends and going out there and playing. And a couple times, I think we even had snow. And that was a lot of fun to play football in the snow. But it's just those little memories of, my childhood. And they still stick with me fondly to this day. And, a lot of those memories make up who I am. And I recognize that some of us don't always have those terrific memories of childhood and of Thanksgiving and what it represents. So I get that. And I think it's just important for us to find the things that we are thankful for. And I just wanted to kind of share just an anecdote to my story. And as I continue to do this podcast, I want to reveal more of who Randy is and why I do the things that I do, especially with this podcast, and why certain things are very important to me. So anyway, I'm just thankful for that. And so when I kind of go down the list of things that I'm thankful for, and I would encourage you to make a list of those things as well, right? Because life is short. And I think we all need our flowers on this side and not the other side. So don't bring me any flowers when I die. I want you to bring words of affirmation, words of encouragement, and words for my family that need to hear anything about me that impressed you in the sense of how I impacted your life in some way, shape, or form. And I'm not dying anytime soon, or at least I hope not. But if that does happen, you have your marching orders. So anyway, I just wanted to share that. But the bottom line is, I think we need to be celebrating and giving thanks right now while we can receive thanks. And so first of all, I want to just shout out my wife, Nicola, the most amazing wife, the most amazing sister, daughter, mother on earth. Without her, I would not be where I am today. And she allows this entrepreneurial journey that I'm on to actually function and happen. Without her, it would not be possible, because, you have to have a helpmate in most cases to get through and do the things that you need to do. I mean, we're not meant to be by ourselves. And I know that's a topic for another day, but it's just something that I feel very strongly about. But anyway, I'm thankful for Nicola. I'm thankful for Joshua, my oldest son. He's 17 now. I'm thankful for Nathan, the middle boy. He's the Peter Brady of the family, and he's finding his own way now. Thankful for Aiden, the mayor, as we call him, because he's 12 going on 30. And each one of my kids, as I tell people all the time, you can't parent any of your kids the same way. You have to parent them differently. And so each one of my kids is special to me in a very special way. Obviously, I love them because I brought them into the world, but I'm so thankful for the men that they have become. They are relationship builders. They are leaders and not followers. They are just amazing young men, and they still have a ways to go. And I keep reminding my sons that don't rush to grow up so fast, because it's going to take time. As I always like to tell people, we don't, and whether you are a believer or not, historically, Jesus, we didn't hear anything about Jesus until he was 30 years old. We knew about him up until the age of 12, and then there's 18 years of silence. And then he drops onto the scene at 30 and then just wrecks the shop, right? And I'm just using those words loosely, but the bottom line is that in Jewish customs, you're not considered a man until you're 30. And so I keep trying to tell my kids, I'm like, listen, slow your roll, enjoy being a young person, because there will be plenty of time for you to be a man and go out and do all these amazing things, which they're going to do. And I would encourage you to be telling your kids, male and female, that they're going to do amazing things, because if we don't do that, then we are at fault for not setting up the next generation for success. So anyway, just wanted to share that little piece of encouragement. But those guys mean so much to me. And of course, Nicola and everything that she's doing. And so I am blessed beyond measure. Like, what was it, Lou Gehrig, when he gave his thank you address at Yankee Stadium? I am the luckiest man on the face of the earth. And that's how I feel about my family. I also want to shout out some friends that I'm very thankful for. And I know that I'm going to forget somebody, but just know that as I was making this list, I wanted to keep this episode short so that you could enjoy Thanksgiving week. If you're on a drive to go to grandmother's house, or you're on a plane and you're listening to this podcast, thank you so much for doing that. But I want you to have time with your family, time for reflection, and time to give thanks. So I want to keep this as short as possible. So if I didn't mention your name, doesn't mean I don't love you. But The names start here. Anthony Sumlin. I've talked about Anthony. He is my brother from another mother, just an amazing person, someone that I befriended when I moved here. He and his wife, Chantal, became really great friends with my wife, Nicola, and I, just outstanding people. And I love him to death. I love his wife, Chantal, to death. And I appreciate all that he's brought into my world, and I'm very thankful for him. Also thankful for a man named Ben Clark. Ben is the founder of Be Unlimited, just an outstanding businessman, but an even better friend, a great dad, and a great husband, and now a great grandfather. Congrats, Ben! But I'm thankful to have Ben Clark in my life. There's of course Mark Zwag. I wouldn't be here in Northwest Arkansas. This podcast would not exist without Mark Zwag. And so I always give a shout out to him and Sonia Zwag and just the amazing people that they are. And Mark just actually wrote a book, Confessions of an Entrepreneur. Certainly want to encourage you to check out that book if you've ever wanted to start a business. I actually got a copy. He gave me an advance copy, but I actually bought a copy because I wanted to support his efforts. And the book is amazing. So I highly recommend it. I'll put a link to that in the show notes. Henry Ho is a newer friend, somebody that I actually met through Ben. And, that's the thing about relationships. One begats another. And I'm thankful to have Henry Ho in my life. Just interacting with him, having lunch, coffee, going out on bike rides with him, and just hanging out. Henry is an amazing, amazing person, just a wonderful human being, and an amazing businessman here in Northwest Arkansas. I also want to shout out this couple, Nick and Meredith Caston. You've probably heard me mention them on the podcast, and that's simply because they listened to my podcast, and it was one of the contributing factors for why they moved to Northwest Arkansas. But we have become fast friends to the point where, I run into them all the time. We've gone out to dinner multiple times. We've had coffee. We've done it all. They are just outstanding people. And if I got nothing else out of doing this podcast but to meet people like Nick and Meredith, that's worthwhile. That more than anything else makes it worth my while. And so I'm really thankful for those guys and for what they represent in my life and the friends that they've become. They live near me. They are just outstanding people. And if you don't know Nick and Meredith Caston, you need to check them out. They are wonderful, wonderful people. Want to give a shout out to my girl, Emma Wallace. She's not a girl. She's a woman, but she's amazing. Emma is the COO, I think, of Venture Noir, and Emma's doing amazing things. She's got so many things going on. I've collaborated with her. I actually produced her podcast, Raising a CEO, and we're about to come out with season 2 of that. But Emma is just amazing. She's a great mom, a great sister, a great daughter, and a great businesswoman. And she is really in the trenches helping all women get their businesses off the ground, and certainly speaking to those that don't have a voice in this area. So shout out to Emma Willis. My man, Matt Cooper. Matt Cooper can burn in the kitchen, and in a good way, not a bad way. Because yes, when we say sometimes people can burn in the kitchen, we mean that they burn the food that they make. That's not Matt Cooper's challenge. Matt Cooper is just an outstanding chef. Everything he touches is delightful. And I will say this, I just recently went to Conifer, his brand new restaurant in Bentonville, and all I had were appetizers. But he treated my wife and I to a collection, an assortment of some of his best appetizers, including his skillet cornbread and, get this, lion's mane buffalo wings. So they are mushroom. They're not chicken, and they are gluten-free, and he makes this blue cheese puree whip under it that is just out of this world. If you go there, you need to order it. It's called the Randy Wilburn Lion's Mane Mushroom. I'm butchering this. Let's call it the Randy Wilburn Lion's Mane Buffalo Wings plate. Just order that. Just tell them that's what you want. Tell them that you heard about it here first on the podcast. But the food is outstanding. I mean, everything that Matt touches will end up in your belly. And you will be thanking me later for that. So definitely check out Matt Cooper up in Bentonville at Conifer, brand new restaurant just off the square. Outstanding individual. Of course, I got to give a shout out to my man, Nate Walls. Nate keeps making sure that we attack the challenges that we have in this community here in Northwest Arkansas with food insecurity, food instability, lack of food, Nate just makes it happen. And because he makes it happen, people make it happen for him. You know, Zig Ziglar says, what you make happen for others will happen for you. And so I really want to encourage you to support Nate in any way you can with Secondhand Smoke, but just order his food sometimes. His wings, like just get a big tray of wings from him. Tell him that Randy sent you. Reach out to him on his website and just order a tray of wings, and you'll thank me later. His wings, his smoked wings, are out of this world. Another person that I want to thank, and she's newer in my life here in Northwest Arkansas, but it's like every day I keep meeting new people. But that person is Missy Kincaid. Missy recently asked me to be the chair of Soup Sunday for the Arkansas Advocates for Children and Families. And I got to tell you, she is a dynamo. She used to work in the Clinton White House. She's in my Rotary group for the Downtown Fayetteville Rotary, which is the best Rotary in Northwest Arkansas. Sorry, Northside. But anyway, Missy is outstanding. She and her husband are pillars in this community, and just I don't know what to say. I'm thankful that God put her in my path and put her in my life, because she's an outstanding individual, and she's encouraging me to even think bigger in some of the things that I want to do, both with this platform, but just in general here in Northwest Arkansas. So shout out to Missy Kincaid and what she's doing at the Arkansas Advocate for Children and Families. And I really want to encourage all of you to please come out February 5th to the biggest fundraiser that Arkansas Advocate for Children and Families has. That's going to be an outstanding event, and I really want to encourage you to be a part of that. Also want to thank Jessica Gray, Gary Head, and Tori Bogner, all from Signature Bank. Jessica she is everywhere, and she is just a great person to know. She is a great friend, and just there's something about her smile. Whenever I go to an event and I see her, it just warms my heart. I really appreciate her. I certainly appreciate my man Gary Head, and certainly Tori Bogner, who is the director of marketing there at Signature Bank, the best, hands down, community bank in Northwest Arkansas. Y'all can fight me on that. I'm telling you. If you're new to the area, or if you're about to move to Northwest Arkansas and you don't give Signature Bank a try, you'll be sorry. Rant over. Anyway, they're good people, though, seriously. And there are other good banks here in Northwest Arkansas, but I just hang with the folks at Signature Bank because they do things right. Peace. There you go. All right, next. Some organizations I want to thank. Of course, Ozark Natural Foods, the Fayetteville Public Library, Ozark Natural Foods specifically because I'm on the board there. A lot of people don't know that. And I work with Mike Anzalone, the general manager. And, all capital ALL, all grocery stores are going through a trying time right now with inflationary prices, with the issues with just logistics and getting things shipped to the store on a regular basis. There are all kinds of challenges that grocery stores are facing, and you know it because you see your bills at the end of shopping, and they're much more expensive than they were even a year or two ago. And so, it's just these inflationary measures are the highest that they've ever been. And so, I give a shout out to the folks at ONF for holding it down and continuing to remain relevant even with all the challenges that are out there. And so, thank you to them, Fayetteville Public Library. And the Fayetteville Public Library Foundation. We still have a ways to go. When I say we, anybody that lives in Fayetteville, or if you live in Northwest Arkansas, you can call that library your own. And I want to encourage you to support it any way you can, even if you could just give $5, $10, or if you have a larger gift, or if you want to have a recurring gift, contact me and I can help you facilitate that and also make a case for why you would want to invest in the Fayetteville Public Library. It was one of the reasons why we moved to Northwest Arkansas. My wife visited there when we came to visit in 2014, and she was blown away. If you're listening to this podcast and you've never been here, make sure that you put two places on your schedule to visit. If you're mountain biking. If you're mountain biking, you got to go do Slaughter Pen. But the other two are Crystal Bridges in Bentonville And then you need to come down to Fayetteville, check out the square, and go visit the Fayetteville Public Library. You can thank me later. I want to, again, shout out Urban Land Institute, Wes Craiglow, Megan Brown, the rest of the team at Urban Land Institute. They had me host an event that they had, the Place Summit 2022, which just happened about a week ago at the time of recording this. And that was an outstanding event. And I got a chance to see what placemaking looks like here in Northwest Arkansas and what we want it to look like as we move forward. Because if we don't allow Northwest Arkansas to grow with intentionality and really look at ways to make sure that this is a place where everybody feels welcomed, where everybody can afford a home, where people can get around even if they don't have a car, where, you know, these issues of housing and mobility and all of that stuff, we start to tackle these issues one by one. That's what Urban Land Institute of Northwest Arkansas is doing. And Wes Craiglow and his team are absolutely amazing. So shout out to them. Again, I want to give another shout out to Arkansas Advocate for Children and Families. Laura Kellums actually runs that program, and Missy Kincaid is her number 2. And so between the two of them, I mean, Laura's down at the State House in Arkansas, in Little Rock all the time, advocating for children and families, especially for the least of those. And so I really want to encourage you to be thinking about ways that you can support some of these groups. The Northwest Arkansas Council, Nate Green and Rob Smith and there's just some outstanding people at the Northwest Arkansas Council, and Nelson Peacock and so many others. And so I really encourage you to check out the Northwest Arkansas Council. They run the Life Works Here campaign, which is encouraging more and more people to come here. And of course, how could I forget the University of Arkansas? I'm thankful for them, thankful for Dean Matt Waller, thankful for all of the professors at the University of Arkansas that I've had a chance to come in contact with. Shout out to Victor Wilson, who is a very dear friend of mine. He is the president of the Fayetteville Rotary, but also just, and he works at the University of Arkansas and an Arkansas alum. And he's encouraged me on why, you know, all the good things about about University of Arkansas. And so I am just thankful to be aligned with the university. I've done some work with the Institute for Entrepreneurship and Innovation. I've done some work with the Innovation Center. I've done some work with the Extension Program for the Walton College of Business. So real thankful for the U of A. But yeah, you know, there I could go on, and I'm sure I'm forgetting some people. But anyway, I just wanted to mention those. And now, finally, I'm going to give you this. There are a number of episodes that are worth checking out if you've not already heard them. As of the recording of this episode, we are 194 episodes in since April of 2019. Yeah. So here are a couple of episodes for you to consider for your listening pleasure, maybe while you're traveling over the holidays, or if you're listening to this at a later date and time, you should check out these episodes. All of my episodes are great, but these are some special episodes. Episode 192, the Sultana disaster, the greatest maritime disaster in the history of the United States, happened in Arkansas. A lot of people don't know that. Episode 190, Circles NWA. They're helping move people in Northwest Arkansas out of poverty. Another great episode. Episode 187, How to Parent Your Kids Through the Maze of Organized Sports here in Northwest Arkansas. Episode 179 with Olivia Trimble, you talking about uniting Northwest Arkansas and beyond through love and art. And Olivia, her mural game is on a whole nother level. So, you know, you need to check her. You need to check that episode out, and you need to check out Olivia Trimble. Episode 177, again, my man Chef Matt Cooper. He's at it again with his new restaurant, Conifer. Hear all about why he opened this restaurant, the inspiration for the restaurant, and what he hopes that it represents for this community. One of the only gluten-free spots that you're going to find of high dining here in Northwest Arkansas. And then episode 171, why Northwest Arkansas is a great place to live and ride your bike. It's an episode that I did with Matt Mihailovich from the city of Fayetteville. He is one of the trail people. Every city in Northwest Arkansas has a representative that oversees the trails and the quality of trail systems. And Matt does that for Fayetteville. And that was a great episode because we really talk about the whole expanse of the Greenway from Bella Vista all the way down to Fayetteville. You really want to listen to that episode, especially if you like riding a bike and if you love the trail system. So, those are a couple of episodes that I recommend. There's so many others, but this gives you a taste of it. And I'll put a link to all those episodes in the show note. Again, this area is growing. 30 plus new people a day are moving here. That's what it was before the pandemic. And I think it's kind of still right thereabouts. This area is growing from a diversity perspective, where the Latinx community is growing by leaps and bounds. And so, we are looking to make this area as diverse as possible because it makes for a great workforce, and it just also makes for a great community. So I'm really excited about how diversity is growing here in Northwest Arkansas. And here are just a couple of things I wanted to mention as we close out. What to expect moving forward. We want here at I Am Northwest Arkansas, which I consider this a media company, if you will. We want to build out our team. We're looking for a social media / events person who wants to work with us and wants to help us expand what we're doing here at the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast. And we're also looking for a talented writer to join our newsletter team. If that's you, you need to come check us out. You can hit me up at randy@iamnorthwestarkansas.com. That's my email, and I'll be happy to talk with you and see how you might be able to work with us. These will be kind of like intern-like positions that will eventually be full-time paid positions. That's the hope. But definitely want to encourage you, if you love the content on this platform and see the potential like I see it, or maybe you just need to have a conversation with me and then you can really see what I believe the potential is for I Am Northwest Arkansas. I'd love to hear from you. So again, a social media events person and then also a talented writer. We could definitely use you. Now, again, I've always said this and I'll say it over again. Why did I create this platform? I just simply created it because it was the podcast I would have wanted to listen to when I moved here. And now it has morphed into something else. And really, the thing that I like about having this platform is that I'm able to share it with other people that are trying to get the word out about their organization or get the word out about their new restaurant or some new idea that they're working on, or maybe their brand new business. I'm able to share that with people like you. And so I don't take that lightly. With great power comes great responsibility, right? Of course, that's what Ben Parker said. And I'm just thankful that I've been able to have listeners like you that have come to this space and are checking us out on a regular basis. And so I really appreciate everyone that listens to this podcast on a regular basis. So now, as far as what the future holds, I don't really know. I can't tell the future. I'm just not sure, except for the fact that we're going to continue doing what we do and try to keep bringing quality content to you on a weekly basis. Listen, that's all that I can ever endeavor to do, is just be the best version of myself and work with you on a regular basis. So I appreciate you guys so much, and thank you for listening to this particular episode. I want you to take some time out for yourself during this Thanksgiving holiday. I want you to think about the things that you're thankful for. Hug up on some folks, love some people, especially if you got kids. Don't rush to Netflix. Spend some time with them. Make sure you hug them and kiss them at night. Do all those things, because tomorrow's definitely not promised. But if we do get to see tomorrow, we certainly want to make the most of it. And we do that by acting in the present moment that we're in. And so I'm so thankful for all of you, the listeners of I Am Northwest Arkansas. And I appreciate you all from the bottom of my heart. So continue to do what you're doing. Continue to fight the good fight. Let's do this thing together, because together we can go far. And that's really all that I have. And so I'm Randy Wilburn, the host of the I Am Northwest Arkansas podcast, and I will catch you soon.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of I Am Northwest Arkansas. Check us out each and every week, available anywhere that great podcasts can be found. For show notes or more information on becoming a guest, visit IamNorthwestArkansas.com. We'll see you next week on I Am Northwest Arkansas.